Hey guys, how's it going? This is Daniel Miller with Upward Realty, and today we're talking about how to prepare your home for being listed. All right, so how to prepare your home for being listed. I think the first thing that we really want to do is to look at the outside of the home. So when you're coming up and your potential buyers are rolling up to your house, they get out of their car, the very first thing that they're going to see is the entry to your home. They're going to see the curb appeal, the sidewalks, they're going to see the yard, they're going to see any sort of landscape. You've got shrubs, flowers, etc. I think the first thing that you want to do is you want to really clean it up. So even if you're not going to be doing a bunch of projects outside, one of the most important things that I think you can do is to make the outside super clean, to make it look manicured. You want to make sure that if you have lawns, that they've been edged. If you have bark, you want to make sure just everything on the outside of the home, you want to make sure it's clean, that all of like your hedges or your bushes have been trimmed and manicured. Nothing kind of turns buyers off more, I think, than coming into the beginning of a house and just seeing everything overgrown, unkept, uncared for, and realizing that they're kind of getting themselves into a project. I think that once they begin to see these things that are that look like, oh man, this isn't really well taken care of, it begins to send these like red lights that are going off inside, like you're going to be spending a lot of time working on this place and all of your spare time. So especially if they've bought homes before or owned a home before. So I think you want to declutter. I think you want to freshen up as much as possible. So again, I think sometimes if you've ever looked at a house that's been flipped, like the investors that bought this old raggedy house, they put a bunch of work into it, put it on the market. Almost every single flip house I've ever seen looks immaculate outside. The grass looks really green. They've got fresh bark. They even have like some fresh flowers or maybe fresh bushes or plants or whatever that are outside. I think you want it to look clean, but you also want it to look fresh and new. So if you have grass and the grass looks like it's dying or it's sparse, it's a bad sign. It's not going to help you sell your home. So just last night, I was with some clients. We were looking at a home that was over $500,000, and we were looking in the yard, and the yard isn't doing that well. The yard doesn't look great, and it's kind of sparse. We were even wondering if there was irrigation. We were looking for sprinklers, wondering, like, is this going to be a project that these buyers have to take on? So I think it's important when you walk up to the front of your house, when you're preparing for selling, your house looks clean, it looks fresh, and it looks like it's ready to go, and it doesn't look like it has a bunch of projects. Also, I know a bunch of people have branches that are down, from the snowstorm, a little bit over around a month ago, and you want to make sure all those branches are cleaned up as well. All right, second thing that we want to talk about is when you go inside the house. So I think the first thing you want to do, declutter. Like you want to declutter, minimize, clean up. There's nothing really worse than bringing buyers into a home and realizing that there's clutter everywhere, that it's not clean and it feels cramped because it's been over furnitured, if that's even a word. But if people just put too much furniture, too many things on the wall, I think you want to go as minimal as possible in a lot of ways. You want to take down some of the large family photos, just kind of minimize a lot of the decorations, minimize the furniture if you can, because what happens is, when you over decorate or you over design or you put too much furniture, or you just like found a clearance on furniture somewhere and you just bought a bunch, what happens is it begins to make your space feel crowded. So I think the goal in preparing your home to sell is you want, when people walk in, to not feel like the space is cramped or crowded. You want them to be able to see the space in its entirety. And so I think that that's one way that you can do that. As far as coming inside, I think you want to make sure you've got all your projects finished. Finish all your projects. So I think there's nothing worse than coming in and realizing that this homeowner was like a DIY specialist, and they've been on like a Chip and Joe marathon over the weekends, and they started a bunch of projects, but they never really finished them. And I'm telling you that, like, I would rather see a few projects that were finished than a ton of projects that were started but never completed, because it doesn't really do it justice when you have all these uncompleted projects. So I highly recommend complete your projects before you start new ones. That will add a lot more value, because when prospective buyers are coming in, they're going to see that they're not taking on a bunch of work. So they can kind of have their own vision for the property. They can start new projects if they want to, but finish the projects that you already started. I think, and obviously we want to keep these things to minimum. We don't want to like add a bunch of stuff to you to like make it difficult for you to sell your home. But I just think that you want everything to feel fresh. You want it to feel clean. If your paint is really dreary, paint's probably one of the most affordable things that you can do to have the most dramatic impact. If your house feels like the paint is really old or the paint is really dirty, I would recommend a fresh coat of paint. It is one of the most affordable things you can do, and it will really help people feel like they're coming into a fresh environment versus like an old or stale environment. So, and I know that a lot of people who, again, going back to this like flip model, people that are flipping homes, you rarely see a home that has been flipped where people are trying to resell a property for profit where the home has not had a new coat of paint. So I think that that's something to consider when you're thinking about selling your home. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully these tips have been helpful for you in considering what you need to do before you list your home and what you need to do to get ready. So thanks, and have a great one, guys. See you later.